Now let's move on with our bulletin. We'll begin the news where President Bola Tinubu touched down in Anambra State this afternoon for an official visit as part of his broader mission to strengthen collaboration with regional governments and advance national development. The Nigerian president arrived at the Chinua Achebe International Airport in Umueri aboard a Nigerian Air Force Airbus. Dressed in traditional Akwete Igbo attire with a signature red cap, President Tinubu proceeded directly to the ceremonial podium where the national anthem was performed in his honor. During his time in Awka, President Tinubu will commission a range of major infrastructure projects executed under the administration of Governor Chukwuma Soludo. Among the key projects to be inaugurated are the newly completed State Government House, the Solution Fund City, and the new Governor's Lodge, the first of its kind in over 3 decades. The refurbished House of Assembly is also set for official unveiling, and in addition to the commissioning events, the President will host a high-level town hall meeting with key stakeholders at the newly renovated Dr. Ekwueme Square, engaging directly with community leaders and policymakers. Abia State Governor Alex Oti has asked the Inspector General of Police to arrest Julius Abor, factional chairman of the Labour Party. The Abor faction of the LP on Wednesday indefinitely suspended Governor Oti and Ireti Kingibe, the senator representing the Federal Capital Territory, along with Darlington Nwakocha, Victor Afam Ogene, Amobi Oga, and Shei Showumi from the party. Now, reacting in a statement issued by Ferdinand Okeoma, his special advisor on media and publicity, Oti accused Abor of impersonation and described news of his suspension as a joke taken too far and an affront on democracy. Meanwhile, residents of Umuahia, the Abia State capital, are expressing concern over the recent statements credited to the Julius Abor-led executive and the Nadi Usman-led executive allegedly suspending some key members of the party. While some say the Abor supposed suspension was or has no bearing, others say it will negatively impact governance in Abia State since Governor Alex Oti is involved. They are also expressing disappointment that the party has allowed their rancor to linger for too long.
I don't want to talk about Abor suspending Oti, but the Supreme Court has the ruling about Labour Party that Abor is no more the chairman of the Labour Party. I think I'm right. So, and if that is the case, the suspension that will hold water is that of Nadi Usman suspending Abor, and that is going to.
Away from that, former President Goodluck Jonathan has decried the establishment of a one-party system in Nigeria through the back door. Jonathan cautioned that entrenching a one-party system in the country could destabilize the nation's fragile democracy. He gave the warning while speaking at the memorial lecture held in honor of the late elder statesman Chief Edwin Clark in Abuja. Political pundit Victor Atewe joined us from Abuja earlier to give us some insight into what's really going on the political landscape in the country.
Wake up to, it's really dangerous for our political system, given to the instability in the political terrain would belong, in Nigeria, and given to the fact that, there are a lot of, totalitarian, or let me use the word, autocratic movement, with the ruling party. So I think having a backdoor one-party state is really dangerous for our political setting, and it's really going to further sinking the democracy we so practice. So I think it's really a timely call, and I think all Nigerians should really wake up to that and look, because right now, what we have now, we have parties and we have people who are just about the interests, but the lack of ideology, and who put themselves first against nation building. So I think it's a wake-up call, and it's really timely. it's just not. I think because we belong to a political terrain where the ruling party is really using all means necessary to whisk the oppositions to themselves, those they feel that will help them win the next election. However, this is a long call, and we've always, there's no difference between the PDP and the APC. As such, we have people who are just there to, who are there to play themselves above even the so-called party they represent is about self. So I think we have that.
Well, there you have it. The new pope has been revealed as Robert Prevost of the U.S. He's the first American pontiff in history. He's 69 years of age and will be known as Pope Leo XIV. For more on this, we have our international correspondent, Afia Hagen. Afia, what more can you tell us about the new pope?
Yes, the new pope, Louis XIV. Very interesting that he chose that name. The previous pope, Pope Louis XIII, was a pope that was really for workers, for the poor, someone who's going to continue the work of Pope Francis, it's thought, but try and solidify the work he did and make it into, Vatican laws, continue the work that Pope Francis was doing. So our new Pope, Pope Louis XIV, he was born in Chicago in 1955. He was ordained as a priest in 1982, and he took on the path of becoming a missionary in Peru. He lived there in a diocese for 2 decades. Now, in 2023, Pope Francis called him back to Rome and appointed him, the prefect of the dicastery for bishops, one of the most powerful roles in the Vatican. And he oversaw the global selection of bishops. He helped to shape the leadership of the Catholic Church. Now, he wasn't necessarily a front runner. His name was definitely in the mouths of people who were talking about who could be the next pope, but he certainly wasn't the front runner. But it's clear that he was a really, really popular choice, obviously, because he has now become Pope Louis XIV, and we can see him stepping out onto the balcony now in those papal robes for the first time that we're going to see him. But it's also about the speed of which he was picked. 4 votes it took, 4 rounds of voting, second day before he was elected. That shows that there was a consensus pretty early on that he would be the best choice, and here we see the new Pope Louis XIV. Now, it took over an hour for him to come out onto the balcony to greet the faithful. There's apparently over 60,000 people in St. Peter's Square this evening, emerging from what's called the Room of Tears after he's had his papal fitting there. And jubilation absolutely in St. Peter's Square and around the world at this moment. We were seeing the first ever American Pope elected.
All right, Afia, now what has been the reaction, to the election of the new Pope? We've seen so many people gathered, waving their flags, especially Americans, super excited that one of theirs has been chosen.
Yeah, as I said, jubilant scenes there in St. Peter's Square and around the world, people I've been talking to in the past hour. I think people were relieved, absolutely, that the vote didn't take as long as potentially it could. And I think Americans will be very, very pleased that they have elected the first American Pope in history, but also someone who, at this time when the world needs it, will carry on the good work that people feel that Pope Francis did. So I think really people perhaps are a little bit surprised that they have elected Robert Prevost to be this new Pope, Pope Louis XIV, but pleased certainly that this was a good choice.
All right, so what happens now?
Well, what we're seeing now is Pope Louis XIV will greet the faithful, he'll talk to them in St. Peter's Square, and then he will have dinner with the rest of the cardinals, and conclave is over. The cardinals will go back to their various points around the world, and that's when the real work begins. Yes, he is the head of the Catholic Church, the head of over 1 billion Catholics around the world, but it is very political.
All right, Afia, there seems to be
also
something going on. Let's take a look. Let's take a listen and hear what is going to be said now. Let's hear. All right, so just as you've heard, the new Pope's first speech, his tribute to the last Pope, late Pope Francis, and also, you know, his prayer for the world. And right now, to speak more to us on this, we have Father Kaios Ugu, you know, from the Vatican to speak to us on this. Thank you so much for joining us, Father Ugu.
Very happy to be here. Thank you also for inviting me.
You look really, really excited, just as so many people around the world. So please go ahead and tell us, you know, how you feel at the moment, and also what you can say about the new Pope.
I don't know if I can continue like this, or I go and put on the light. Somebody touched this, so the light went off from my side.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. All right. Like you rightly said, the joy is enormous all over the world, Catholic world, Christian world, and I would say all the lovers of the church. We are happy, and we really thank God for this gift He has given to us again. So sorry for the distraction. It's a glorious moment for us. It's a glorious moment with which we thank God. And we also thank the cardinals who took only 2 days to give us a new Pope. And it's a moment to celebrate. As you can see, the bells of the St. Peter's Square ringing for joy all over Rome. Now the church bells are ringing to celebrate this new gift of a new Pope in the Catholic Church.
Okay. Now, he chose his... Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Father Ugu?
Very well, yeah.
All right, so he chose his papacy, you know, his papacy name, that's Pope Leo the 14th. How do you think his papacy would actually differ from Pope Francis's?
You know, so while he is an American by birth, being born in Chicago.
Well, to tell you, the new Pope, actually, he wasn't even among the, if I should say, the rumor. So everything is coming as a surprise. The choice, even though he's a very famous person in the Catholic Church, he has held the position very famous. But I can say, from the rumors we are hearing on this side, he wasn't even among the first 5 that people were talking about.
All right, we seem to be having network connection issues with Father Ugu, but thank you for your time, Father. And I will take a quick breather. When we come back, we'll continue with the news. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us on News Now. Now, in Angola, a major legal and political showdown is unfolding after a Luandan court abruptly blocked a national debate on electoral reform, drawing sharp criticism from the country's bar association. On Thursday, the Angola Bar Association, known as the OAA, condemned the last-minute court order as a severe blow to democracy. The ruling came just hours after the OAA was set to host a national dialogue aimed at examining proposed changes to the country's electoral laws ahead of the 2027 general elections. Now, the court ruled the event fell outside the OAA's legal mandate, effectively cancelling the gathering, which had invited civil society leaders, journalists, academics, and legal experts to participate in what the organizers described as an open forum to listen, reflect, and debate key issues of public interest. At the heart of the controversy are proposed reforms that include the use of national identity cards as the sole document for voting and the introduction of mobile polling stations. In Senegal, lawmakers have opened a critical debate that could send shockwaves through the country's political establishment. On Thursday, the National Assembly began discussions on whether to allow several former government ministers to stand trial before a special court facing serious allegations of embezzlement. The charges stem from accusations that they misappropriated funds intended to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. Among those named is Mustafa Diop, the former Minister of the Industrial Development and Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises. The move comes under the leadership of President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, whose party holds a majority in the assembly. Elected in March last year, El-Rufai campaigned on a bold promise to reform governance and crack down on corruption, setting his administration apart from that of President Macky Sall, who led the nation for over a decade. The United Nations has raised alarm over the worsening humanitarian crisis in South Sudan, where escalating violence is blocking life-saving aid from reaching tens of thousands of malnourished children. In a joint statement released Thursday, the World Food Programme and UNICEF revealed that intense fighting in Upper Nile State has halted the delivery of critical nutrition supplies for nearly a month, leaving an estimated 60,000 children without the support they desperately need. The clashes between forces loyal to President Salva Kiir and those aligned with Vice President Riek Machar have intensified along the White Nile, a key humanitarian transport route. As a result, the agency says not a single aid delivery has made it into the area in weeks. On World Wrap, Pakistan's army has shot down 25 Indian drones a day after the world's worst violence between the nuclear-armed rivals in 2 decades. Our Pakistani Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif vowed to retaliate after India launched deadly missile strikes on Wednesday morning, escalating days of gunfire along their border. At least 45 deaths were reported from both sides following Wednesday's violence, including children. Pakistan and India have fought several wars over the Muslim-majority disputed region of Kashmir, divided between the two but claimed in full by both. Remember, you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do you follow us on social media? We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Abor TV, and YouTube.